Lieutenant Charles Albert Varnum, a courageous and youthful cavalry officer, composed a poignant letter to his parents on July 4, 1876, shortly after the notorious Battle of Little Bighorn. With heartfelt sincerity and unfiltered honesty, Varnum narrates the gripping account of the U.S. Army's disastrous confrontation with the united forces of the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho tribes. As one of the few surviving officers from the 7th Cavalry Regiment, Varnum's correspondence provides a unique and personal insight into the turmoil and devastation of that tragic day, highlighting the valor and sacrifices of his fellow soldiers, the strategic ingenuity of their Native American adversaries, and the internal conflicts faced by a young soldier confronting the brutal realities of warfare. Now take a moment to settle in as we embark on this intriguing journey together. While you view this video, please remember to click the like button and subscribe to our channel to support our community. Dear Father and Mother, I am writing to you from our camp along the Yellowstone River on this Independence Day, July 4th, 1876. I have the opportunity to send you a letter, so I will share our experiences since my last correspondence. On June 22nd, General Custer led the entire regiment, approximately 605 men strong, along with my squad of about 36 scouts, guides, and interpreters, as we pursued the Indians whose trail had been discovered by Major Reno. We covered about 12 miles on the first day and around 32 or 33 miles on the second day. Early on the morning of the third day, we encountered a very prominent trail leading up the Rosebud River. About 10 miles from our camp, we stumbled upon a circle enclosed by a brush fence, set up for a Sundance ceremony, which I have previously described to you, intended for the making of warriors. We discovered a stick with a fresh scalp attached and the tracks of 2 or 3 Indians, likely made that very morning. After marching 20 miles, I was ordered to return 6 miles to investigate a creek to determine if any Indians had departed from the trail. Upon my return, we resumed our journey, covering an additional 8 miles before setting up camp at an Indian encampment that appeared to be approximately 2 days old. The evidence suggested a significant force nearby, prompting us to act swiftly to catch them off guard. Custer approached to consult with the scouts, and the 6 Crow scouts accompanying us, who were well acquainted with the terrain, indicated that the trail ahead led toward the Little Horn, a tributary of the Bighorn. They expressed a desire to advance about 20 miles to a prominent bluff that would provide a view of the Little Horn Valley. Custer sought an informed white individual to accompany them for the purpose of relaying information. I took along the 6 Crow scouts, 5 Reese, and an experienced frontiersman, and we marched through the night, covering approximately 60 miles. I had been riding for 36 hours without any rest or sleep. General Custer intended to depart at 11 p.m. and reach us by morning. By 2:30 a.m., we arrived at the hill and concealed ourselves in the underbrush until dawn. As the sun rose, we noticed the smoke rising from an Indian village. By 5 a.m., I dispatched the Reese back with a message for General Custer. The Crow scouts reported seeing around 2,000 to 3,000 ponies on the plains, 12 miles away, although I was unable to see them myself. General Custer's camp was situated about 8 miles from our location, and he received my message at 8 a.m. He then resumed his movement and joined us on the hill. In the meantime, 2 Sioux warriors were observed approaching General Custer's column. Charlie Reynolds, the Crow interpreter, along with 2 Crow scouts and myself, set out to eliminate them and prevent General Custer from being discovered. Regrettably, we were unsuccessful, and upon General Custer's arrival, we briefed him on the circumstances. He resolved to expedite his actions and launch an attack on the Indians as soon as possible, given that our presence had been detected. At approximately 2:30 a.m., we arrived at the camp, where Major Reno commanded 3 companies, A, G, and M, into combat. I observed their advance, accompanied by Lieutenant Hare. Our scouts dispersed, prompting me to inform Captain Moylan that I would engage with Company A. We dismounted and fought on foot near the village, but soon found ourselves encircled and outnumbered. We retreated into the woods, making our way toward the bluff. The Indians did not pursue us aggressively, and we could hear heavy gunfire emanating from the opposite side of the village. Upon reaching the bluff, we regrouped and realized that Lieutenants McIntosh and DeRudio were unaccounted for, and Lieutenant Hodgson had been killed. Only 5 men and Lieutenant Wallace from Company G remained, with over a third of our forces lost. At that moment, Colonel Benteen arrived with 3 additional companies, and the pack train brought up another company. This increased our strength to 4 full companies, along with the remnants of 3 others and some civilians, totaling around 300 men. We could hear intense gunfire about 2 miles away, indicating that New Custer's 5 companies were engaged in a fierce confrontation beyond the village. After regrouping, we advanced along the bluff to join Custer, but after a mile he was no longer visible, and the sounds of battle faded. With wounded personnel and a cumbersome pack train, we opted for a defensive position on the bluffs, preparing to confront the Indians. Our chosen location was strategic, with the horses sheltered in a hollow, exposed to attack from only one direction. The battle continued fiercely, with us fighting valiantly until around 9 p.m., when the gunfire ceased until dawn. We fortified our position as best as we could with the limited resources available, while the Indians maintained a relentless assault on us throughout the day. Men fell swiftly, yet the young soldiers quickly transformed into battle-hardened veterans, fighting alongside the deceased and injured, amidst swarms of flies and maggots, displaying a fierce determination that belied their youth. We had a makeshift hospital housing approximately 40 wounded individuals, shielded by mules and horses that encircled it. These animals had to be struck before any bullets could reach the men. I will refrain from detailing the horrors of the situation. We were without water, which incited the fury of the men, prompting detachments to venture out under heavy fire in search of supplies. Many were killed or injured in this endeavor. The horses endured tremendous suffering, as they too were deprived of water and could not consume the oats we had without it. The gunfire subsided on the afternoon of the 26th, and we observed the village vacating. After nightfall, we relocated our camp slightly to escape the stench of the deceased animals. By morning, the Indians had vanished, and the reason soon became clear. General Terry, accompanied by 5 companies of the 7th Infantry and 4 from the 2nd Cavalry, was advancing to our aid. They had encountered the Crow scouts who had managed to escape and rushed to assist us. They arrived around 10 a.m., revealing the grim details of the situation in all its horror. General Custer, along with his 5 companies, had been annihilated. Approximately 300 men had perished, their bodies stripped and grotesquely mutilated. 16 officers were among the fallen, including General Custer, Captain Keogh, Captain Yates, Captain Custer, Lieutenant Cook, First Lieutenant Smith, McIntosh, Calhoun, and Porter, as well as Second Lieutenants Hodgson, Harrington, Sturgis, and Riley of the 7th Cavalry, and Lieutenant Crittenden of the 20th Infantry, along with Doctors Lord and Dowolf. Colonel Benteen and I sustained minor injuries. I received 2 superficial flesh wounds, 1 in each leg below the knee, while charging on foot to drive the Indians from a hill where they were inflicting heavy casualties on our men. Reflecting on the recent events is truly distressing. Mrs. Custer has lost her husband and his 2 brothers, one of whom was a civilian accompanying us, while Mrs. Calhoun mourns her husband, 3 brothers, and a nephew, Mr. Reed, who was also part of our group. Tragically, half of the officers with us have perished, and the regiment has endured considerable losses. I will provide further details about these incidents in due course. I have been appointed to lead the remaining members of Company Rear, which elevates my rank to First Lieutenant and places me 11th on the list. We are currently camped on the site of our previous battle from August 11th, 1873, and a boat has been dispatched to Lincoln to establish communication with General Sheridan and receive further instructions. Yesterday, we received mail from Fort Ellis, which included a letter from Sheridan, dated a month prior. In it, he cautioned General Terry against dividing his command, as he had received intelligence indicating that at least 5,000 warriors had gathered. I believe we engaged approximately 4,000 of them. General Crook, with 16 companies of cavalry, is advancing from the south, and according to this message, he has been bolstered by the entire 5th Cavalry, bringing his total to 28 companies to confront the enemy we faced with only 12. We retreated into the woods, making our way toward the bluff. The Indians did not pursue us aggressively, and we could hear heavy gunfire emanating from the opposite side of the village. Upon reaching the bluff, we regrouped and realized that Lieutenants McIntosh and DeRudio were unaccounted for, and Lieutenant Hodgson had been killed. This is a concise overview of the current situation. Please do not worry about my well-being. Your loving son, Charles A. Varnum.